So I started with this unfinished wood picture frame that I got from Michaels, and I took some Antique Villa Wise Owl paint and painted the entire frame. I also painted the insert using Antique Villa. And once everything was dry, I put the insert back in and I just gave it another quick coat of Antique Villa. Now once that was dry, I took a 220 grit sandpaper and just gave it a nice sanding. You can distress it as much or as little as you'd like. I found this second picture frame from Dollar Tree, and I removed the back, and I grabbed this aluminum mesh from Hobby Lobby, and I just wrapped it around the picture frame insert. And this was just to give it the shape that I needed to sit back into the frame. So I laid that down into the picture frame, and once I had the aluminum mesh in there nicely, I popped the insert out. And then using some hot glue, I went around the inlay of the frame, and then I laid the aluminum mesh back down. Using some gloves and E6000 glue, I just went around for extra strength and put some of the E6000. I took a razor blade and I just removed the extra aluminum mesh. I had these burlap sheets, and I think burlap ribbon would work as well, and I just cut them into strips so they fit the back of the frame, just so it kind of cleaned it up and covered the ends of the aluminum mesh that hung over. And I just glued those down with some hot glue. Now I grabbed some hinges, and you want to make sure they are small enough to fit on the frame of your picture frame. And I just drilled them into the back of my frame. And then I flipped it over to the front side, and I painted that using Antique Villa as well. And I should have laid down the painter's tape first, but before I got paint on the aluminum mesh, I laid it down. And I just gave a nice coverage of a couple coats of the Antique Villa on the front and on the hinges. Now, once that was dry, I took the other frame I had painted, laid this frame on top of it, and then drilled the hinges into the frame. And then I removed the painter's tape. And I just touched up my screws there. I had this stencil that had like different border patterns, and I laid it on the frame, and using a very small dabber and some Higgins Lake, I just did the stencil around the entire frame. And then I took the backing out of the big frame, and I took this second stencil that I had, and using a foam roller and a small amount of more Higgins Lake, I just rolled over the stencil. And then I lifted it and just placed it back down to continue the pattern. And when that was dry, I put it back in. I took some E6000 glue and I glued this mirror to the center of the back there. And I just gave it a quick sanding. And now you just have this really cute way to store your earrings. The aluminum mesh has very tiny holes so you can put your post earrings into it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Other tutorials can be found over on our YouTube channel. And if you want to see how we made some of these earrings ourselves at a very low cost, you can check that out over on our webpage, chalkitupfancy.com, and head on over to the blog section. We hope you have a great day.